Bad reunion, you were already on the edge of your seat, pumped to death. I've never seen anyone so pumped to see Team Bad.
I'm going to be real honest with you. I forgot that Team Bad was a thing. And Michael Cole was like, oh, these women are very familiar with each other. And I looked at you and I was like, they are?
I didn't remember that at all.
I didn't remember a single thing about it. And then he was like, oh, it's Team Bad. I was like, Team Bad? What the fuck? And then I was like, wait a minute. Team Bad? I was like, oh my god, I forgot that was a thing.
That original stables of when Stephanie said, it's a women's revolution, and we just had multiple stables that never did anything. Oh my god. I can't believe he brought up Team Bad. I was just like, oh my god, what a moment. I was like, what do you mean? This is...
What do you mean a moment? This is the dumbest thing that's ever happened.
I was like, what is this team? What is this? I don't know.
That was the dumbest thing I'd say. Whatever. That's all I've given. I don't have anything else for this one.
Oh, I was... do you remember when Bayley tied Lacey Evans' hand in the turnbuckle rope, the tag team turnbuckle rope?
Bayley clearly needs to go to the school of knot tying and not the school of tying a knot that's the same knot as you tie your shoelaces in. You can just unpull it with one pull of a string.
Well, Lacey Evans couldn't figure it out, apparently. She stood there for at least 2 minutes, just pulling the string. I just couldn't believe it. It was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Anyway, Bayley's still the champ. I love Bayley. Good for Bayley. And then we get into the... Okay, next we go into probably the most fun match of the weekend.
I would say, it was awesome. It was the most... It was by far the most...
Is it a match? Can you even call it a match?
Yeah, it was technically a match, yes.
I don't know if it was a match.
It was. He pinned him. He pinned him for a 1-2-3.
All right. So we'll start. I'll just go. I'll run it down. I love this. This was awesome. First off, this was so awesome.
Cool. Let's just start off with that. I think that's a good place to start. This match ruled.
This was phenomenal. I want to first talk about Pro Wrestling Insider, the magazine. They're so out of touch. They hated the Firefly Funhouse. They hated the Boneyard match. They just don't get it anymore. They're like, man, we're just trying to have some fun. Not everything has to be 5-star match. Not everything has to be freaking AJ Styles versus Kenny Omega. It's not that.
It was so good. Like, it was just such a far deviation from anything we'd ever seen. And it had all these old callbacks and throwbacks, and it told a story without in just such a unique way that had never been done before. It was incredible.
Not only did it have the whole storyline of 5 whole years, 5 or 6 whole years, 5 or 6 years from
6 years.
6 years, yes, and 36 to 30 with
30.
Yeah, with Bray Wyatt going back to Cena, losing for the first time. It had the WCW. It had the Saturday Night Main Event. It had the Doctor of Thugonomics intro. Let's go. We're going to go all the way back. We're going to run it back. So we start with the intro fake out. John Cena comes out. We play the greatest theme of all time. The John Cena sucks. We're like, oh, maybe we aren't getting a video package match. We're getting a real match. And I was a little disappointed. I was like, oh man, this is not what I wanted. I was disappointed. You could see it on my face. You were faked out. I know you were faked out.
You were kind of more like reserved, upset about it. I was very visibly like, what the fuck? Are we not getting, like, is this going to be a real match? Like, are they going to drop like a steel cage and call that the Firefly Funhouse? Like, what is this? And then they cut to Bray Wyatt in the Firefly Funhouse.
This is where we start with the Vince puppet. We get the Vince. Oh, I love the Vince puppet. The Vince puppet's hilarious. And I can't believe Vince, like, allows it. I could just not imagine Vince, like, being happy that someone is just making fun of him.
I'm actually with you. I can't believe that this puppet, like, passes as, like, a thing that he allows on, like, television.
He must just love Bray Wyatt. Maybe it's just how popular The Fiend was and how popular Bray, and he's like, you're making me a hell of a lot of money. You're good to go with me, buddy.
guess. I don't. For whatever reason, I'm glad he allows it. You know what? I'm glad he allows it.
So after the Vince puppet, we go to the... Somehow they pull out the SmackDown fist. They pull out the old 2004 set, the SmackDown fist. That's like my favorite set of all time. It gave me life. It got me so pumped up to remember me as a little kid. The ruthless aggression, and that's what we get. The debut of Kurt Angle versus John Cena. They have the simultaneous of Kurt Angle meshed up with Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt's calling him out. Kurt Angle's calling him out, saying, I challenge anyone. Cena comes out. Cena's just saying ruthless aggression. It's kind of like a joke at this point. Cena's just swinging. Bray's not there. Can't hit him. I don't remember how it got to the Saturday night main event, but it goes to Saturday night main event. I didn't understand, I guess, how this plays into the whole story. But they go to the Saturday night main event. We have the Randy Man Macho Savage promo by Cena. We have Bray Wyatt, like, look at the muscles. I don't know how that played in to the whole storyline, but I loved it.
Yeah, I think that one might have just been more of like an homage type thing. I'm not really sure how it played in either, but again, it was phenomenal. So
it was cool. I love the Saturday night main event thing. We both got real pumped when we saw that. We're like, oh shit, Saturday night main event?
Yeah.
We got pumped. And then they bring it back. They bring it back to Cena with the word life. It's the Doctor of Thugonomics. The whole, oh my god, that song, when it hits, is tight.
Word life. We got pretty hyped about this. So right about this point, after the Saturday night main event, when they brought out the Doctor of Thugonomics and his music hit, this was about the time you and I kind of started looking at each other like, this is awesome. Like,
yeah.
This is really, really cool. And this is about the time too where they started talking about. He started bringing up like, oh, you're selfish and like you claim to be like a man of the people and all this, but like, could you not see that like I was the one that was like the people's like chosen one back then? You just like had to, like do your thing back at like WrestleMania 30, and then like intercutting it with like video, like little, clips from that. So this is when it kind of started to like piece together as to like a story type thing. So it kind of like started taking shape at this stage.
I feel like they showed a few times of him where he kind of buried other wrestlers, or like where he just beat other. I know they brought up the CM Punk one. I can't remember what other ones. I'm gonna have to rewatch it. But I remember them bringing up the CM Punk one. They just brought up a few vignettes of him just burying other wrestlers. And it was awesome. I don't know. It was so cool. The whole thing was just cool. It was like a history. It was a whole history lesson. And then we go to the Bray Wyatt character, WrestleMania 30. Probably one of my favorite wrestling characters of all time.
Yeah.
And they bring out he's got the whole wide world in his hand song. He's talking about Sister Abigail.
It shows like this is the one where it's like he's talking about having like the whole world in his hands, and then like it cuts to the clip of him like getting the entire crowd at WrestleMania 30 to sing it with him, and I was like, I kind of got chills at that point. I was like, ooh, I remember that. That was special. Like, ooh.
I know. I love that character. I'm still really sad he didn't win the title there. It was a good payoff for now. It really helped me right then. It helped me like we had a payoff. It kind of gave me a little bit of a smile on my face. I said, we finally got that payoff. We didn't necessarily get what I wanted, but it felt good to know Bray's doing this right now. And he finally kind of got that win. Anyway, after that, we go to I didn't even know what this paid off to. I guess it's just because Hulk Hogan also buried guys, maybe. The NWO. We go to the NWO.
I think that was the parallel here, was they were trying to draw a parallel between Hogan and the NWO kind of like refusing to like, to put over other stars, and like I think that's kind of where they were going with this one.
Maybe, yeah. So they go to the NWO. They have Bray Wyatt playing Eric Bischoff, and they have Cena coming out as Hulk Hogan, Hollywood Hulk Hogan, which was kind of awesome. If you see the video again, it's so cool.
NWO World Heavyweight Title belts.
Yeah, he's doing the whole hand to the ear. He's doing everything. It was cool. It was awesome. I don't know. It was different. It was cool. Then we get the Fiend. Fiend hits him with the mandible claw and the Sister Abigail, and it's over. And then we go.
I thought one thing that was kind of cool too. I want to point out was that So this was probably the point where John Cena kind of, they showed like kind of the parallel of Hogan turning on Bischoff and then Cena turning on Bray Wyatt and kind of like hitting him and then like, beating him up in the ring and like showing flashbacks of like Cena, winning all his titles and stuff like that. And you're like, oh, like, this is his comeback. Cena's like, thinking about all his, stuff. He's like finally snapping out of like the trance that the Funhouse has put him in. And then out of nowhere, it like cuts and he's like beating up the little pig or whatever, the pig tall. And then like the Fiend appears behind him, and I like legitimately like got goosebumps. I was like, oh, this is so creepy. Like, I love that. I loved that. That was so. It was just such a cool visual, and it's like that's why I think I like this so much. Is that like that's a visual you couldn't get from just like a wrestling match,
Mm-hmm.
Like that would be impossible to pull off in a regular wrestling match. So like the fact that they were able to like do that because of like the high production value of this was just amazing. I loved it.
I agree. You reminded me of like when Cena pulled the chair out and then Bray's on his knees, his hands are extended wide. He's like begging Cena to hit him. They had that playback to WrestleMania 30. That was awesome. This is you were saying like it was a great playback. It like just gives you the whole history lesson. You're not going to get that again. It made me want to watch. I'm gonna watch WrestleMania 30 after this. I'm gonna watch that match. Right after we finish recording this, honestly. I'm so pumped to watch that. But, man, that was awesome. Anyway, it ends. It's finally over. And then we just have Titus O'Neil, who took over the hosting job. And then
because Gronk was, like, escaping with the 24/7 title somewhere.
And then it was just ridiculous. I don't know. We shouldn't have had I don't think Titus should have been on there, but it was kind of funny. It didn't matter.
It was whatever. It was a cool little like whatever.
Anything else you want to end to the Firefly Funhouse?
No, that was just most unique match. I think like probably of the last most unique match since Matt Hardy's Ultimate Deletion match. And I said it then, and I'll say it again now on air. I mean, Matt Hardy walked through the Ultimate Deletion match so that Taker and Bray Wyatt could run through the Boneyard match and the Firefly Funhouse match.
What do you think's next for The Fiend?
That's a really good question, and I don't know. I think this match kind of saved the character, to be honest with you.
You know what we alluded to? I don't know if we talked about it yesterday on the podcast. We talked about Bray Wyatt versus Braun Strowman.
Yes, actually we didn't talk about that, but I know we talked about it off air before. Mm-hmm. And I actually think that might be a really, really good direction to take this now.
I agree. I don't know if it's going to be... I'd kind of like something similar, at least the lead-up. The Firefly Funhouse lead-up. Just bringing back all the history. I think you were part of my family. You let me down. Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think you have... If you're going to do something like that, you have to do kind of a similar thing where it's like you have it in one of these matches, and like you kind of bring it... You do the same thing. You kind of like bring it back. And like bring the history all back. I think that's the best way to kind of do that kind of match. Is like a similar style to the one they just did, like another Firefly Funhouse match.
You know what I would do first?
What?
I would go Eric Rowan and then Braun Strowman.
Okay.
I'd almost bury Eric Rowan. I'd almost just destroy Eric Rowan.
Well, but so then next question has to become: does that like result in an oversaturation though of Firefly Funhouse matches? Like, do people?
No. I don't think they'd all be Firefly Funhouse matches. I think they would just kind of build a story until about. I don't know if you could get to SummerSlam with it, but you'd have probably a match with like Harper. I think Harper can give you a good match. Not Harper. Rowan could give you a decent match, just a powerhouse match, and then eventually, I don't know if you'd even do a Firefly Funhouse with Strowman. It'd probably just be a regular match, but it'd have like the vignettes and the whole build-up.
Yeah.
And
I can see it.
And then I kind of want them to. I don't kind of want them. I really want them to just call out Luke Harper and just call him like a quitter. And he's like, oh, he left the family and he just left. He bailed. He gave up. I want them to do that because I know Vince doesn't like what Luke Harper's doing over in AEW, making fun of him. So it'd be kind of cool to see Bray Wyatt bring him out as a puppet or something.
Yeah, I think that even so, like, what is it like? He's Brody Lee now in AEW, but like he's been like saying a lot of like bad things about like Vince and stuff, and like in interviews